drives conversation. The Big Seat starts now on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat. It's 6 minutes past 9 o'clock, the first day of August 2026. We are right here on Plot 12 Motilen on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. Good morning from wherever that you're catching the show. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Don't forget that you can be a part of the conversation when you join us online on cruisefm.com/stream and on Cruise TV for TikTok and YouTube. Now, we have a radio TV arrangement here. Now, what you get to do is that you just type in Cruise TV on YouTube or TikTok. You'll be able to watch seamlessly all that is happening on Plot 12 Motilane. Now, to be a part of the conversation this morning, you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Welcome back from the Urban Breakfast here. On the Big City, we talk about matters that concern all Ugandans across the country. It's not exceptional this morning. We are talking about the LC1 elections. Definitely, we saw a bit of skirmishes here and there, and all that traversed and happened across the entire country. On Tuesday, at least a public holiday was declared for Ugandans to participate in the local council elections. We know certainly that in over it's about 70,000 villages or something, we at least know that majority of them were able to constitute village committees after the chairperson LC1s were elected. I have a team with me in studio, but before we get into our topic of discussion, let me give you a rewind of the week. Now, we know certainly that the IGG, Lady Justice Aisha Naluze, has directed the Clerk of Parliament, Adolf Mwesige, to immediately interdict 7 senior parliamentary affairs officials, I beg your pardon, who are facing criminal charges over alleged 27 billion corruption scandal. People were in parliament stealing a lot of taxpayers' money. There was a parliamentary exhibition that was done headed by the cartoonist Dr. Spire Sentongo and Agatha Athire, and we know certainly many Ugandans got excited about what was happening in parliament and getting to know how much of our money was being wasted. Fast forward, we know that the Speaker of Parliament is not at the helm and no longer superintendent over Parliament. After we had a communication from the PLU changing their position on who they were supporting, we now know that Oboth and Thomas Taibwa are Speaker and Deputy respectively. And there were arrests that were made by police and the IGG because there is a lot of money that was being wasted at Parliament. Now, some of these things are a repercussion of all that is happening. Now, yesterday, I think the whole country, Buganda Kingdom, marked 33 years of Kabaka Mwenda Mutebi II's reign with a Thanksgiving at Watoto Church. I am a strong believer in Buganda Kingdom. At least I am a child of the regime. They call it Omlembo Mutebi. I am one of those, and the Cliftons and the Sandras and everyone here. I don't know whether Bwenje is part of Omlembo Mutebi.
I'm a veteran.
We congratulate the Kabaka of Buganda, but particularly the people of Buganda. Buganda definitely welcomes everybody, and Buganda is not majorly Baganda, but literally all and every person that stays within the region. We congratulate the Kabaka for making 33 years and for the beautiful organization from Watoto Church. Certainly, Watoto is an excellent church. They gave it the best. Now, leaders of the People's Front for Freedom on Friday visited Mulago National Referral Hospital to check on the condition of the party leader, Dr. Kizza Besigye, who remains in the ICU after collapsing during that High Court session, we also what happened, but we are going to be talking about that and a bit more. Now, former Kampala Lord Mayor and PFF leader Elias Lukwago was denied bail after the High Court found that the prison authorities had not certified that the medical condition in which he is undergoing did not warrant him to seek treatment outside custody. And this morning, we are definitely talking about the LC1 elections and how they transpired. To help me discuss this and more is Mr. Clifton Manyiro Mishuni. He is a member of the National Resistance Movement. He's from Uganda. He's an agriculturalist. He's into veterinary medicine and all those things. We want to appreciate you, sir, for making it this morning. I also have the advocate, Mr. Bwenje Deusdidit, who is a lawyer. And I also have another advocate in Sandra Baho, who is also a lawyer. We are talking about that this morning, so be a part of the conversation. Join our social media handles. Give us feedback on Facebook on 91.2 Cruise FM and 912 Cruise FM on X. Good morning, Council Bwenje, and welcome to the big set.
Yes, okay. The pleasure is always mine. Of course, the week has been eventful. There's been a lot of highs and lows.
You're on court vacation, I'm pretty sure that...
Yeah, court vacation. Of course, for young lawyers, it's a nightmare. It's
You're not on retainer and
exactly,
things are high there.
And of course, for young lawyers, sometimes it is not easy to have a kind of like an account where you can save, because there's literally nothing you can save.
But as who are joining practice, they're telling us the money is there. Lawyers are driving Beamers and Benzes, and it's an elite kind of lifestyle. You can't tell me that.
Well, it's kind of a roller coaster ride, but I think it's a matter of priorities.
Okay.
It depends on
it's a different story for
the
Sandra.
expenditures that you have, that you make. And so if you're not steady, or if you're not actually alert, you can go hungry during court vacation.
Sorry.
So I think for the lawyers out there, you have to save. Otherwise, if you don't save, you might go hungry over the weekends, and even in court vacation. So as you work, as you get that attendance fee of 100,000, the transport fee, don't allow a client to fail to pay you transport to court. That is, I think, a fundamental basis.
Is that
sure, he can fail to.
Bad?
Yes, sure, he may fail to give you instruction fees, but for transport to court, don't go there without being paid.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Talking about Dr. Besije, I think there is a confusion. I think there is a confusion as to why. There's a confusion as to why he was demonstrating. Is it because the judge is imposing on him lawyers whom he doesn't want, or is it because the judge is kind of is intent on conducting a trial when this judge has no lawyers of his own making or
no choice.
Choice. So I think, and I think it is the latter. I think Dr. Vesge is saying, why should you try me when I don't have the lawyers whom I want? And yet the judge also, under Article 28, he's mandated to conduct a speedy trial. So I think it's kind of like a catch-22.
I don't see the
kind of like a
catch-22.
standoff.
I don't see the standoff.
No, it's there.
Counsel, if I am an accused person,
yes,
and definitely the case belongs to the state to prove this matter beyond reasonable doubt,
yes,
why not allow the accused person to have choice of counsel,
I think
prosecute the matter to its conclusion,
where the
implicate them, and send them to jail?
Where the issue is,
yes,
the judge has not stopped Dr. Besige from appointing his own lawyers. The problem is that the lawyers the lawyers of his choice are not there. He wants two from all the lawyers in the world. So I think that poses a serious issue to the judge, because now it is not the fault of the judge that these lawyers are not available.
Mm.
And yet he must account to us, the people of Uganda.
Yes.
And so he's caught up in a space where the trial has to proceed against an accused person who doesn't want the trial to proceed.
Maybe now
Okay.
there's a listener out there that perhaps is getting confused of how a simple problem has culminated into where we are at. Why not allow Martha Karua, who is not a convict under any jurisdiction,
Yes.
to defend her client?
And I think the reason is that the state
Because now
has not.
a listener out there may understand that there is a case for Elias Lukwago to answer for misprision of treason.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes, that one all of us maybe could
Yes,
agree
yes.
that this man has offenses that he was charged over.
Yes.
And he has a case to answer. You cannot pick on him as counsel.
Yes.
But there is a lady who was given a special practicing certificate, and she obtained leave of law counsel to practice in this jurisdiction.
And up to now, it has
and she's
not
a person
been,
non grata.
Revoked.
Yes.
Because the certificate is still subsisting.
Yes.
It has not yet been. And now the state has not given us any kind of
Reason.
explanation
Yes.
why she's not allowed in the state.
Mm.
So I think to some extent Dr. Vesige is right.
Yes.
I must know why I'm not able to access lawyer A, B, or C.
Yes.
On the other hand, the judge, I think, is kind of like apprehensive or he's hesitant to inquire from the state where is his lawyer.
Mm.
And I think that kind of the failure of the court to demand an explanation from the state is I think it is doing injustice to the accused person, even to us, because as the people of Uganda, we want to know what exactly happened. Is he guilty or is he not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sandra, welcome to the show. I think since you have set the ball rolling, we shall not have to go back.
Yeah.
Dr. Vesige is in ICU. Ugandans are praying. They hope for the best. The worst could happen. I'm not gaslighting Ugandans, but I'm saying this is a leader that some of us have been able to follow for the last 20 years,
Yes.
25 years or something.
The biggest opposition leader some of us have only seen.
Yes. What does this mean to a young lawyer like you, hearing that the judiciary is at the center of all that is happening to Dr. Vesige?
Of course, for a young lawyer, and I'm sure it's not only me, the landscape, the judicial landscape, together with the political landscape, are changing, and we see where they're going.
Where?
Yeah, we no, I am not going to say it out loud, but we see it. Maybe it's going to change at some point, but right now this is the Uganda that we are in. Everything that is political, that has to be to do with politics, the landscape is really not good. And sometimes I believe we know where this all emanates from, but the person we can actually, the nearest persons that we can actually accuse or put the blame on are the judicial officers, because they are the ones we can see. Remember the magistrate,
Yes.
the magistrate
The
who,
principal magistrate who at least did a write-up.
Yeah.
Of, I have done this.
like she was in
Yeah.
a confession box,
It was,
like yeah,
exactly.
for Dr. Miriam Matembe, because we actually have to believe that the external forces, some of which are bigger than they are, because in Uganda right now everyone wants something sustenance, and if there is anything that is actually is coming in the way of sustenance, of your own sustenance, then you're going to have to fight back. And I don't know how she fought back, or whether it was a show itself, the ruling itself was a show, but the judicial landscape now, like
but
his lordship,
we
Baguma.
were told that she was transferred.
Yeah, she was
But-
transferred.
You now see, you young lawyers.
You see,
Yes.
we are supposed to have a kind of like it was supposed to be like like an excursion as lawyers and judges and magistrates. From here, then you go to Fort, then to Kasese. I think from Friday up to Sunday.
Yeah.
But most of us, us,
what stopped you from going?
Some of us feared. Okay.
No,
Like for me, it was uncomfortable for me being next to a judicial officer in the same bus. Because of what I'm
But
saying.
another thing,
Because of what I'm saying.
the excursion itself
kind
was
of-
labeled team building. So I felt
Yeah,
it was
team
the team
building.
building for the staff of the court, not really with the advocates. Because what would we be team building with the court staff?
Because I think we are an all-time. I think we have never been so kind of like nervous of each other.
Like this time around.
Yes.
Okay,
It is as if they are hunting for us and we're also hunting for them. So
Okay.
to be in the same space, in the same bus, it is not actually. It is so hard.
Let me bring a state actor. The RDC Musa Kwatanese is here. Good morning, sir. And we shall not waste time since the ball rolled. We are talking about now Dr. Besige. We know that the judicial officer in the Miriam Matembe bail application was transferred simply because she made a decision. Like I could pick on the word of Counsel Sandra here. It was as if she was in a confession box. She made her ruling, but before she even did that, she had to swear to God and indicate to Ugandans that her hands are tied, but she has done this, whatever comes to her. Good riddance. But she was transferred. She was transferred as if to punish her. You see? Now you have Justice Baguma, who is literally under war with an accused person before the entire gallery to observe. We've seen him storm out of court. We've seen him literally having a verbal exchange with the accused person in the dock. You're a state actor, Mr. RDC. Is this okay with how the judiciary is conducting business?
I am a patriot. I'm not a state actor. I am a patriot who is serving Uganda.
You're a civil servant,
and
Mr. RDC.
Ugandans patriotically in accordance with the laws of the land. First of all, I wish to pose this question to the three lawyers here. I've heard you say that the judicial officer who was responsible for Miriam Matembe's case, after pronouncing her position in the case, was transferred. I wish to pose this question. Who controls the transfers, and was the transfer illegal?
No, to answer your question, we have already established that there are external forces. That one, I believe you also have to accept that. But being transferred immediately after making that ruling, maybe, and there were no transfers that were made countrywide.
Actually,
there were just a few transfers.
Just to guide you, I will use myself to guide you. When I was getting an appointment from the head of state, the appointment reads that I have to be ready to serve in any part of this country, wherever called upon. And so I am very much sure that even the very judicial officer is the very vote she took.
Would you have the same position?
When she's transferred, I think that should not raise dust, because it is in accordance with the laws of the land and it is in the interest of the country. So and actually I've followed her up to now. She's not complaining. But we are complaining. Anyway, away from that, with Dr. Besige, you see His Excellency the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said it recently in the State of Nation address, that if Dr. Besige knows that has no crimes, offenses against the state, Uganda has a functioning judicial system.
Really?
Let him face it, and the truth will come out. And you see, when trials started, you saw what happened. The man is being tried, and he's refusing to be tried.
Yeah,
what is he hiding? You know, Section 23, subsection 1 D of the Penal Code Act clearly says it. Someone is Besige section 23 subsection 1b of the Penal Code Act is the one that is pinning Besigye
Yes.
of an attempt to assassinate the president
Yes.
among the treason charges he has.
Yes.
And now the section subsection 1 D says that if there is also any other individual that aids in that case, also has to face the same one.
Mr.
That's why.
No,
That's why in the same matter. That's why in the same matter, you see the counsel Elias Lukwago, who is his lead lawyer. Investigations have facts right that he was also part of the aiding team, and so he has also the cases. And
the lead counsel for Dr. Besigye is Martha Carrier, and she was given a special license to practice law in Uganda by the law council,
and it has not yet been
and
revoked.
it hasn't been revoked. Why isn't she allowed to represent her client in court?
Actually, for Martha Carrier's case, if you look at whatever was connected to the offenses, to the alleged offenses of Dr. Besigye,
Has she been tried?
the alleged.
Has she been tried?
All those of allegations happened in Kenya, and it is rumored, because facts are yet to be established, that Masakarwa, the Elias Lukwago were part of this crew.
Yes.
And that's why you see the state here says, Dr. Besigye, you know where, that Elias Lukwago, it is just a force.
Clifton?
Yes.
Certainly, I know that Semujunganda, Kakwenza Richurabashija, Nyanzi, Stella Nyanzi, and a couple of Ugandans have fled Uganda in fear of either being jailed, even Bobby Wine, being jailed or whatever the case. Dr. Besigye is in jail, Lukwago is in jail, Mufumbiro is in jail. Definitely the entire opposition is in tatters, if you asked me. And you as a member of the NRM, when you watch all that is happening in the courts of law and the jails and those that are running to exile, doesn't it worry you? It's possible, definitely we all know, that you are not here when Uganda was dealing with its dark past. But it looks familiar to the literature that we've read. This doesn't seem normal. Doesn't it bother you?
Yes, thank you, our moderator today, and my fellow big sitters. First and foremost, I'm not a person who believes in that let everyone who does bad or whom they think has done bad be put in jail. People flee the country because of feeling insecure where they are. I wouldn't subscribe to that. But of course, like you have said, as a member of the NRM, at times we put parties aside and we love our nation and we see how best we can put our nation from one level to another.
Yes.
But I'm of a view that we may not think, in people's eyes, in the citizens' eyes, we may see that they are fleeing the country because they are feeling insecure or because they are opposition. They might have done something wrong which we may not see. That's why I still believe that it's only those who free the nation, those who are jailed, know why they are fleeing the country, and also those who want to arrest them. They only know between themselves. Yes, because issues
but we at least know, but going by the charge sheet,
yes,
that Dr. Besigye was interdicted because, in fact, he was extradited from another jurisdiction and brought here, even when it wasn't a formal extradition. But he was at least brought here by whichever way, and the indictment clearly indicated that he had the offenses as far as treason. Yeah. And he's charged for that. At least we now know it's now no longer between the prosecution and the accused. The facts are on the table. With the way how Besigye is being treated before courts of law, at least we know that the lawyers, the two appointed lawyers, one is in jail with him, another one was was declared person non grata into Uganda. He's not been allowed to. He's been given an opportunity to pick other counsel to represent him, but he has denied that. It's a stalemate, Mr. Manyiro Mushuni.
Of course, the spirit he was brought in, it was not good. Because I would believe that if he had made mistakes, as we talk now as Palo, Besigye is not known to be in Uganda even. I think his passport still stands that he is in Kenya. But he's already in Uganda by all means and is in jail. So I would want that the state let it bring evidence, allow him to bring his lawyers of his choice, and be paraded in court, and he gives his defense if at all he's accused. And if he is convicted, well and good. But I wouldn't believe that. Let the state decide on the lawyers he would use. Let them decide on how to treat him. At least let us follow the rule of the law, such that we can get justice to the guy. Because even out there, people are worried. What next? Even his collapse, people thought that even before he collapsed in court, they knew that even the judge was ready even to make him lose the case, because he's not ready to listen to him, but he's talking as if, even if you see the eyes of the judge in that case, you see that the judge is also worried. I think he's being used by some people, or if at all is not being used, he's also worried of his life. That's why he cannot speak out his mind, because as a land friend, he would speak or he would judge depending on the law. But you see how he's borrowing ideas. It's as if it's not his mind. That's where my worry is. But I think let's have leveled ground. If at all he made mistakes, be brought to book. If there's no mistake, he's set free.
We are going to talk about the rule of law. At least no country, no citizen of any country would love to live in anarchy. We all want order. We all want civility. We want predictability with the application of law. We at least want, if in the same circumstances, faced by two different people, the repercussions should be the same. Where does this place our rule of law as a country? Do we worry that we may go into where the law doesn't work and it works for some and some it doesn't? Your officers of court, Council Bwenja and Council Sandra, these things should give you sleepless nights. Sandra?
Yeah, of course. I think the rule of law itself to work should be manned with the separation of powers, judiciary, executive, and the legislature, and that is not happening. And it's not happening so much that the president is talking about what the judiciary should be doing from what the RDC was talking about. But that should be the work of the judiciary. It should be the work of His Lordship Baguma to know that the trial is supposed to go this way and it is going that way, with no one from the judiciary, from the legislature, actually batting their hands in how the judiciary is operating, and the judiciary taking orders from above, and the legislature, everyone in Uganda. I don't think there is any separation of powers anymore. They all seem to be in each other's businesses. Yeah, they can work together, but then still you don't. One of the arms shouldn't be really doing exactly what the other arm should be doing.
At least we know that the PLU, where the RDC belongs, clearly came out and said, we are going to cause a change of the leadership of parliament. This was outside the ambits of the NRM that dictates who is supposed to be speaker or not.
Of which the PLU is actually headed by the military, which is supposed to be impartial.
So can we conclude this morning, the 1st of August, that the power rests somewhere else in how systems should function, and it's not an isolated instance of the judiciary, that it must deal with this new arrangement with how Uganda is run? Isn't it correct that we make that conclusion?
Yeah, now, the rule of law, it's essentially, it comprises some key ingredients, especially the supremacy of the law. I mean, all people must bow to the law, and of course, the constitution, of course, it must be the law that guides the state. But of course, as we know now in the country of Uganda, some people are way above the law. For example, the Chief of Defense Forces, he's untouchable. He has the freedom, the liberty, the carte blanche to do whatever he wants to do. If he says today you must die, you will die. If he says I don't want this institution there, it is off. So what has happened to the to NTV? It is still, I think, off a bit. The monitor and so forth. So we have people who do not respect the law, and when the Constitution says in Article 1 of the same that all power belongs to the people, some of us doubt, are we part of those people? So I think the people there, it means, I think, either the 1% of the state. And of course, as the judiciary, which must be independent of the executive and the
legislature.
Yes, and parliament. I think it has not been bold enough to come out and demand accountability from the state. And I think to us as lawyers, I think it is kind of like a bad habit for democracy in Uganda. And when we have judicial officers who appear to be apprehensive, it's as if they are kind of afraid of annoying the state. Someone is entertaining a bail application, but she or he has already received instructions from above that you should wait a bit, and the judicial officer actually comes and tells you at TC Council, you kind of try some other time because I've received a call from A, B, and C. And so, as advocates now, I think we are not very much hopeful in the judicial officers because we think they are not exercising the independence that they swore to assert in their vows.
Mr. RDC, all Ugandans that you know about have hope that in case of dispute, have one hope that is solid and they can count on, that they can go to the courts of law, present their matter, it's adjudicated on its merits, and they get a judgment. It could be in their favor. And it's executed and met, and at least they are able to know, I got justice. Aren't you worried that the Ugandan people might lose faith in the judiciary? And that's the worst case scenario.
Now, what I want you, the land people, to help Ugandans to know is that the Article 128 of the Constitution that talks about the independence of the judiciary, still, Clause 3 talks about all organs of the state helping the judiciary in exercise of its mandate. And so, if you see the executive coming out to put any effort in making sure the judiciary exercises its mandate, it is not illegal. Because that's why that clause came under the clause of the independence of the judiciary, Article 128. Clause 3 mandates all other organs of the state to always offer support. You don't know what is the kind of the support they have to offer. As long as the judiciary is exercising its mandate.
Mr. Twatanese, there are Ugandans who ask themselves, there are particular judicial officers that once a matter comes up before them, literally the outcome is premeditated. Predictable. You know, you've now had situations where they are acting judges and someone is on probation and they are handling sensitive matters and they are not sure where they can be confirmed or not even.
There's an acting judge. There's an acting judge who did not. He did not allow any decision of his to be shared online. So I want to ask him why. Because making your decisions accessible to us is one way of you accounting to us.
Yes.
So why don't we see your decisions? And the man said, you see, counsel, I'm still an acting judge. I might make a decision and it annoys someone and I'm not confirmed as a judge.
Mr. RDC, answer.
That was so,
Is that okay?
So hard for me to understand.
You see,
Please.
My whole point is, I want
Actually,
the
I
three.
think-
I want
I
the
think
the
let us
advocate.
ask him what kind of support should the executive give to the judiciary?
Judiciary.
Actually, not
Minus appropriation.
Yes. What kind of support?
There should be assistance. And assistance,
How? Yes.
when you look at the assistance, that's why Uganda has the Internal Security Organization, ISO, with the DISOs, with the GISOs, purposely to do intelligence work. That's
For-
why Uganda has police that records the cases, has the crime intelligence,
Yes,
under
yes,
police,
yes.
has
Let
the,
me help you.
and
Mr.
all
RDC.
those-
Mr. RDC.
Actually, to make facts right, there are those people that give you work to make facts right. Because after having all those intelligence reports and files are able to appear before you, that's when you players come in. And
Can I ask you a question? If I'm
for
making
facts
judgment.
and for facts to be right,
Yeah.
you always without those files from those intelligence sources, you have no job.
No, it is their responsibility to generate information. But when I'm making a judgment, when I'm writing a judgment, do I need any intervention or interference or support from the state in terms of how I should make my
Your decision.
judgment or not?
Maybe, Mr. Twatane, we've seen
Should I get
accused
based on
persons, especially those that were arrested in 2021 general elections, being denied bail. You know, even though small boys that were following Chagulanyi, that were denied bail, they had sureties, places of abode, and all the grounds for you to obtain a bail. They have been in jail for forever.
6 years.
Yes,
No, no,
but
no.
then prosecution says these people will interfere with the investigation after 5 years.
And the judge
How do you
falls for
believe?
that.
How do you want Ugandans to believe this, Mr. Twatanes?
Now we must understand that Uganda, to be peaceful for 40 years, there are very many mechanisms that have been here to track acts of violence, acts of insecurities that would have caused us a brace. I want to put facts right that
He has
for
no
whatever
facts.
you
He has
see,
no facts.
that
Yeah,
for
let
whatever
him
you see
submit.
being done, one is done on intelligence. That's why you see boys being arrested, and actually for them when they are being arrested, they say, "But we don't have any criminal case to answer." But reaching, you hear the Gwenges
You force them
reading.
to confess.
Okay.
So I want to clearly state that for whatever is being done is in the bigger interest of the Wananchi, the Ugandans who are down there.
Okay.
And so to have Uganda peaceful for more 40 years, all these mechanisms we will continue seeing them continuously for the peace to continue prevailing here. Short of that, if Uganda is run the way Bwenje wants, I tell you, give it for 2 weeks, Uganda will be no more.
Cliff, there's a
It's
video.
already no more.
Mr. Wenje, Cliff, there was a video that circulated yesterday
Of some
of
Mugumya.
Sam Mugumya.
Exactly.
You know, in a very worrying situation. As we have been around, we saw Sam Mugumya, Harold Kaija, and the former member of parliament for Buhweju,
Mwijiche.
being side on side with Dr. Besigye all the way from the 2001 election. I saw the video of Sam Muguma and his condition, where they say he was jailed in Kashenyi. We don't know that in prison in Kashenyi. I think it's a gazetted security installation of some sort. This man looked starved for generations. And these are state actions. Doesn't it worry you as a citizen, as a young man, when you see these? Doesn't it tell you how dangerous it is to the price that you're supposed to pay for opposing government?
Yes. Before we go any further in that video, first of all, we have to appreciate that we have seen him with life, because the information I was getting from various people, some people knew that Sam Mugumya was killed. At least we saw
So
that
that's
he's
what I
alive.
thought.
We thank God for that. But the condition he was in, I also saw that with that video, no any citizen or any human being would love to see that happen to a fellow colleague.
What does that make you feel as a member of the movement?
Of course,
Seeing these things happen, that we always appreciated President Museveni and the NRM government for at least not doing.
at least however much they are torturing those who are anti-government or those who belong to the government, however much they are arrested, at least you appreciate Co. The NLM government has done a lot, especially in peace and security and what have you. But those issues of torture, those ones usually happen. Even in America, they torture citizens who are arrested. But the state he was in, of course, if he's not put in court, me, I advocate for rule of law. If at all he did wrong, let him be brought to court, then we see what to do. But if he's taken in basements, as they say, and is tortured to that level, it wouldn't be good for him or any other Ugandan. Even if I'm supporting NLM, today is Mugumya, tomorrow is me. So I wouldn't love that nature or that situation to reach on any Ugandan.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's
Government does not torture its citizens.
Okay, if you want to talk about it, did you see that Sam Mugumya video?
Yes, I saw it.
What was wrong with Sam Mugumya in that
But
video?
we have even patients, even if you visit the referral. Do you mean also the patients that are in such a critical situations have been tortured?
Is he in a hospital?
Isn't that insulting the intelligence of Uganda?
There is no way one would stand here to say government tortures. There is no record.
He's not only insulting the intelligence of Ugandans, he's insulting the humanity of Ugandans, because you can't come here and say something like this.
At him.
Did you hear, Mr. RDC? Did you hear what you just said?
Yes, we can just visit these health facilities.
Is he in a health facility?
The patients are there.
But is he?
Some are in critical situations. Do you mean they have been?
Which hospital is he in? Where is he admitted? For us to actually conclude that he might be in a health facility.
I want to appreciate the government of Uganda because it has answered the acts of the.
For how long has Mugumya been missing?
Actors who have been alleging that Sam was killed. Now they have seen him. Which other lies are they parading? Now they are saying, now you see how the man is. Because every lie they parade, the government answers. Recently they said government has killed Chivumbi. Now they have seen him. Which other lies are they parading? No lie. They said if Chivumbi is coming out, you will see him dying. Chivumbi is now health is out. Now, which other lies are they parading? Nothing.
So for how long has Mugumya been?
As long as these political actors continue parading lies, the government cannot just keep at the watch. Because their missions are already known. Intelligence has records, has reports, and the system must maintain peace and stability for the common wananchi who is there, who doesn't even know this kind of English we are speaking here, but wants peace and stability to make sure his garden does well and he earns and improves his well-being.
So you're actually admitting that the government must have actually held Mugumya, and because we kept on saying that he's dead, the government decided to show us that, he has been tortured, he's not in a good health, but he's here, he's alive.
Now the torture you are speaking about, that's what I am saying. All your lies, as
Which
long
lies?
as you keep parading lies, the government will keep proving you wrong, and you will appreciate that indeed the government is serving its wananchi.
Let's go to the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls and the feedback from our listeners. Call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. We are talking about events that are happening on the political landscape of our country. Yesterday, there was a release of a video of Mr. Sam Mugumya, who was arrested here in Barra at Nim Hotel. He has not been of trace for a while, and yesterday a video was released to at least indicate that this man is alive, but in a very worrying condition. The RDC, who is here in studio, has said, well, Ugandans, I think you blow things out of proportion. This man is alive. You go to referral, there are sick people that could look like Mugumya. Maybe he's just a sick man. Let's get to hear from you on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Hello, caller.
Yes, Mr. Banyaji.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Speak a bit louder so that we can be able to hear you.
This is the big government calling in from here, Itarvaya.
Okay, please.
For me, I've got to thank you for letting us to know what is going into the country.
Okay, I appreciate you. Oh, I thought you had just called to appreciate and let it go. Sorry for that. Now, let's speak a bit of your feedback on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
The big seat.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
as usual, but the best schools are Matega problems are set up from Segarama Shema.
Yes, Robert.
Yes, you see, Mr. Westgawanyani. This is Uganda we are in. It is a lot of power. When you don't have power, you cannot manage Uganda. I was trying to hear in the court. He was saying, I say, hey, why do Ugandans abuse this man?
Ugambori Nyankore, we shall hear you very well.
Yes, ngeni mporale sijawe na gamba. Ngantagwa ti Uganda, ntagwa ti abanyayuganda numbona onesa besu zebi. Tubamone kura mutinde gwa koti omushiza kazoma kagaya katandika nkaburisho.
Batuburize.
Nepane mwani nigane turumu hati nyoshe vili. Naramtebwa na ukabahutirize.
Kare bari mnonga. Thank you so much, Robert, for calling in. Dear listener, you can actually call in Nyankore and speak our language. Even here, the panelists can be able to make their submissions in Nyankore. Let me pick the very last call and we go for that break. When we come back in the second hour, definitely right into the local government elections. The big set.
Yeah, hello, Cruise FM.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Morning to you. This is Moshe Derek from Kamukuzi.
Yes, Derek.
I'm among the people who are really supporting Mr. RDC, because this Uganda, you see, at times the government, it also becomes hard for it, to maintain, the peace with these political actors. Because we've had some cases of where they put some into exercise and other places, but then they tend to build up a situation of maybe they always want to create some sympathy from the public or from the citizens. We've got an attendance of someone like Dr. Chiza SJ, refusing to have food. So if someone says to have food, then should we think he will surely be okay? So when he comes out, then there will be that sympathy of people saying, oh, they have been torturing him, he has not been having food, they've done whatever. So I really think these people also need to be handled in some way or another.
Thank you so much for that feedback. We looking at, but better still, we stop for a break. When we come back in the second hour of the show, we shall be able to pick off your calls and the messages on our social media. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Back on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. Thank you for those that are locked onto the radio. I know a couple of them that are enjoying the show. Dr. Dismas Aijuka, you're currently locked onto your radio, and you're saying the current situation in Uganda is leave politics and enjoy your life because opposition is recognized as terrorism now. I saw the video of Sam Mugumya and I was like, what is in the injection given to those people losing weight and gradually losing it? May God have mercy. Thank you, Dr. Dismas Aijuka, for that feedback. And a couple of you that are listening here, we want to appreciate you so much. I know the big setters that are onto the radio. Apollo Tumsime is saying, Kwatanse Musa Diara DC, you sounded very sarcastic on Sam Mugumya's issue. This is a Ugandan. There is a fully established law on how those suspected to be criminals are handled. Have respect for human life and family. That office you occupy shouldn't take humanity out of you. Mr. RDC, they are reminding you that small docket that you're occupying it should not make you forget humanity. I hope you'll be able to answer some of that. But I want to appreciate those that are definitely religiously listening to the show. The Big Seat happens every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11. Definitely day-to-day supermarkets. There's a television they put on the entrance and the Big Seat is on. And to appreciate you, Peka Mega Supermarket. As you go to Ruti, it's always loud and clear for the Big Seat. Rubis petrol station at Kubiri, that supermarket always listens to the Big Set. And all these other spaces, I always get the feedback. You keep us doing this more and more. Now, know that come November, we are celebrating 15 years of being Western Uganda's biggest radio. Now, the love is going to be double. But don't wait for that. Advertise with us so that I can get a paycheck. So reach us on Plot 12 Mutilan for mileage for your business, if you have a promotion, if you have a new product, if you have some kind of information that you want to reach the people, don't hesitate to reach out on Cruise FM and advertise with us. Definitely, you'll get the mileage that you need for your business. With me in studio is Counsel Abaho Sandra, who is an advocate of the High Court. Counsel Bwenje Deusdedate, who is an advocate of the High Court. Dr. Clifton Maniromishuni, who is a veterinary. How do they call those people into the animals husband? Animal scientists. Very good. And I have the RDC for Wampara here, Musat Kwatan. So we are talking about LC1 elections. But in the first hour, we definitely talked about our political landscape, what is happening in the courts of law, the discretion of judicial officers, independence of the judiciary, the rule of law, the separation of powers, and all these interactions between the different arms of government. The conversation will definitely keep on our social media, so don't hesitate to drop us that feedback on 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. Now, if at all you want to watch and see how beautiful Sandra is and how smart Bwenje is and how everyone is looking very brilliant and sharp, please go on Cruise TV. Just type in Cruise TV on YouTube and TikTok. You'll be able to watch all the people that are with me in studio. And definitely you have the opportunity to also give us the feedback on our topic of discussion. We're talking about LC1 elections. Never before had I ever seen the enthusiasm that I saw for these local council elections. Previously, they would even happen and the country doesn't know. I think there was even a time that Ugandans asked, why doesn't government give us a public holiday to go and vote for our local leaders? But we are going to take this slow because we know the importance of local governments, especially in the decentralized system like ours. How important are local council chairpersons? Have women participated? How influential are these slots? How impactful in our body politic are these structures of LC1 elections? What does the law say about the LC1s? Let me start with you, Bwenje. One, did you participate in the election? I would be interested to know if you stood. Yes, Council Bwenje.
Yes, I am a voter at Kachika Stadium.
Yes.
But I didn't vote because there was no candidate for me to vote for, because there's no member of the opposition there.
Mm. And you still blame the NRM for having all
to
sweep all the opposition. When you can't even feel
as members of the opposition, I think we are either fed up because of the offenses that are committed in elections. We don't have any hope there. We don't actually fear that some people can vote for you and you win as a member of the opposition, especially in Ankole and so forth. And of course, there was an absence of the opposition in the parts of Ankole and I think Ankole in Kabare and so forth. But of course, I saw the members of the NRM. They were sharp. They were happy. But also, I noticed that people who are not in the register, although they had national IDs showing they vote from that same space, they are not allowed to vote. And I think that was a little bit of disenfranchisement. Because if I'm a voter at the station there, why shouldn't I vote for my LC1 chairperson? Because I think it was 2 weeks ago I stated that here that an LC1 chairperson is more important than the president, because the chairperson LC1, he knows you, she or he knows you. He knows where you stay. He knows who your spouse is, if you have children or you don't have. He knows if you are a lawyer or not.
They actually deal with a lot of
exactly.
They
are the eyes and ears of the government on the ground. So so there was an issue of who qualifies to vote, and I saw it happen because I was not allowed to vote, because I was not in the
register.
Yes, and now on the register of the EC, it only has the name and the NIN, and they don't ask you for your national ID. So it is possible that I can go and vote in someone's name. Okay?
But at least the Electoral Commission explained to men that by the time you go to vote in an area, the people know you. This is a small group of people that are involved in this exercise. It's very easy to figure out who doesn't belong to that particular thing.
You see now, the people, what exactly do you mean by the people? What if the people and I are in the same gang, and I'm not a member there, and we collude? Okay, I go and I import some people from Kasese, and then I bring them here, and then I say these are these ones are known, and their numbers are here, but because you do not have their photos and to enable you know that this name is for him, this number is for him, so it affects the credibility of the election. Of course, there was violence in Barara. I saw one in Karugangama here, and I think the results of 7 polling stations, I think, were cancelled by the EC, and I think there was, of course, a lot of bribery. I saw it, but all said and done, I think. As a people, when we do not organize ourselves, then if we do not have faith in the national elections, then there's no way we can even have kind of like confidence in a vote which is conducted by. And of course, there's an issue of the way it is conducted. When you vote by lining up, it poses some issues. People fear to line behind a certain candidate because that would mean that they are not going to be in the back of some other candidate. And of course, it creates some bit of animosity in the area. And maybe there has to be an amendment.
Okay. Mr. Odisi, you had a lot of interest in local council elections. Certainly, because you and the LC1 chairpersons are always in cahoots. matters of land, you only hear RDCs and the LC1 chairpersons. You must have had interest in this election. How did it go in Rwampara? How did the Electoral Commission manage the exercise in Rwampara? And tell us.
First of all, I want to say that in Uganda we have only two most important elections. Others are important, but we only have two most important elections. The first is the election of the President of the Republic of Uganda. And the second election is election of the Chairperson LC1.
Yes.
Because government starts at the President and ends at the LC1. And I want to first of all appreciate people of Rwampara because we held, at least it was a peaceful election. We only had one scenario in Chikonkoma in Mwiz and only one polling station that didn't vote. And they are voting today according to the guidance of the EC. First of all, I want guide the Council Wenge. You know, I have quite often challenged my brother here that he speaks what he doesn't practice. He says he's a champion of the rule of law. Electoral Commission released a roadmap for the election of the LC1 chairpersons, released a roadmap when people have to register, gave a timeline for that activity, even went ahead and gave a timeline for people to recheck and see if indeed they are in the registers, and now put a date for the voting. And now Council Wenje, who says he follows the law and loves the rule of law, comes at the door of the voting. A council who knows the Electoral Commission had a roadmap it is following, and of which the roadmap is there, everything is streamlined, wants to challenge the Electoral Commission registers and wants to challenge the entire electoral process by forcing himself in voting when in actual sense he knows he didn't register himself to vote. So I see a controversial in him of being a champion of the rule of law. So this process was entirely controlled by the Electoral Commission. But one thing I want to appreciate is that the 10-point program of the NRM Revolutionary Party were summarized into a 4-principle agenda, of which principle number 3 emphasizes democracy, where the Ugandans have to wake up in one day and choose someone that should lead them. And I want to confidently state that in this LC1 election, democracy, like they exercised it when they were voting for the president in the recently concluded presidential election, they have exercised their mandate and their rights. And when we see this happen, as the NRM party, we first of all appreciate the principle number 3 of democracy, and we see that the agenda NRM has been fronting for 40 years is realized day after a day. And so I want to appreciate all Ugandans that fully participated in this election, because LC1 chairperson has powers. By the way, for purposes of record, even you lawyers know that court starts from LC1. I hope you know that a judgment is made at LC1. And if there is contestation for that judgment, someone requests the LC1 court to give him a go-ahead to go to LC2 court. And if LC2 court also fails, someone asks to go further. And in exercise of the judgment from maybe the magistrate or the high court, still you will be referring to what happened at LC1 court and LC2 court. So that means that everything for the government starts from LC1. You will not come and migrate from somewhere to stay in a place if the LC1 has not endorsed you. You will not buy land if the LC1 has not endorsed you. And recently, especially in Ankole, we have gotten challenge of cattle theft. It is the mandate of the LC1 to authorize that animal to get out of that area to another area. Without that chibari, the so-called the chibari, the authorized letter from the LC1, you cannot move that animal from that village to another village. So you see, that's why I started by saying that the elections in Uganda are two that are the most important. The election of the president and the election of the LC1.
Thank you.
And seeing people coming out to participate underscores the trust people have in the system that is governing Uganda.
Thank you, Mr. RDC. Sandra. At least I followed because I was very interested in these elections. I was able to see that women actually did a good job. Women are now chairpersons LC1 in very many villages. They actually participated. They were excited. Young people. We know the LC1 that I've had Mr. Karim and Mr. Okecho here in Andrews and Savea, they've been chairpersons for the last decades. But they've done a good job. This time I've seen young people being given leadership as chairperson LC1s.
Yeah.
And the role that chairpersons LC1s play, especially in domestic matters. You know, you're dealing with the wife-husband fighting, you're dealing with the work of probation officers, and all that.
And small debts.
The small debts and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking about the role that chairpersons LC1s play, but the participation of the youth and the women, speak about that. What does that imply to how much such a position is important in the governance structure of our country?
Thank you. First, I would like to agree with the RDC and Council Wenje about the importance of LC1s. And in school, social studies and all, we always learned that the family is the smallest unit of the community.
Yes.
And I also like to believe that after the family comes the local council, the area, the cell, the village. So which means as the village being the next unit to the family, the local council has a very big job in making sure the community moves well. And as the RDC said, the LC1 chairperson is a very important person in the elections, in the management of Uganda. But surprisingly, the election of the LC1 chairperson is the most mismanaged and ill conducted in the whole of Uganda. Because we all know...
But at least you know the rationale behind the lining up. We are saying, government is saying, let's get rid of the breaking.
No, because
the people in the village know themselves.
Yeah, they know themselves.
Let them line behind their leaders.
They know themselves, but what the government is missing is the clash that it is creating. Yeah, you asked how the elections were conducted. We have seen many places where these elections have actually become the background of domestic violence between husbands and wives. There is, I think I was watching some clip from the Bukede News, and this guy who had contested for LC1 chairperson reached home and put down the whole kitchen because the wife didn't vote for him. So how about the others that we didn't see? And there is some, I think, the youth, the women, there are also women who have been in those seats for decades, by the way, and they have been doing a good job, and they have, won and opposed, or they are opposed, but then their opponent got 1 or 2 votes, and I don't know, but in this election, the elites actually, I don't know,
they picked interest.
Yeah, they picked much interest. I don't know. Someone told them about the power of the stamp, because every time they always say it is the power of the stamp. Like the RDC said, the chairperson LC1, that stamp, it is used in the land transactions. You want a loan from the bank before when passports application, national IDs. It is like one endorsement that you need, the LC1 chairperson's endorsement, for you to actually do anything in Uganda. And that's why I believe that the lining up is actually a very bad way of conducting this election, because this is an election of a person who's supposed to, unite everyone. But then if they're opposed, and then they're lining up, and because there are some people who actually refuse the stamp because you didn't vote for him. Yeah, I saw you lining up behind, Banyaji, and I'm not going to give you the stamp, or you have to pay a hefty amount for it. So, and what Council Wenje talked about the registers. Anyway, I think I didn't hear so much about the EC displaying the registers and also updating the village register. I didn't see it anywhere. And if you actually check from their press releases, they didn't say anything about them displaying the village register so that we actually update it. Because over time, the last election was conducted in 2018. I was actually a village electoral officer then. I remember I conducted the last one in our village.
Yes.
And since then, if it is the same register that I've been using, many people have already made the age of 18. People have moved in. People have migrated from those places. So the register needs to be updated so that we know who's voting who. And what you talked about, the youth taking interest, Uganda has a very high percentage of youth population. And we are actually, I think the youth are actually realizing that they can do well in these positions, that the LC1 is no longer that kind of position where you have to be like, bandere bata, and they were LC1. So the stamp comes with so much power. And now an LC1 who doesn't know English in those land transactions, it actually becomes so hard to do the job. Yes, they are the smallest units. They reconcile families, and actually some, if it is, they are to break families because they are the people they run to first in case of anything.
Thank you, Sandra.
Where the problem is, if the register is to be updated, in 2018, I voted there. So it means my name is still there in the cell.
Yes.
So if it is an update and I've not come to say that I'm no longer a resident of the cell, and no one has come with my certificate of death, then it means my name is still there. So who removed my name from there?
For purposes of record and avoidance of doubt, I wish to put this clarity before you and the listeners. Electoral Commission commissioned its staff at every village in this country to move through actually home per home, registering people who are supposed to participate in the election, in the ongoing. I hope you know it is ongoing because we have now gone to LC2. So these staffs of the Electoral Commission were there in our villages registering people. And they did that job perfectly.
Okay.
Only that the council rangers and others who were maybe not in their homes or who didn't pick interest were not registered.
But also,
was it a new register?
It was not updating, it was new register.
No, it was an update.
Mr.
It was not a new register.
Mr. Twatanse, when they were counting Ugandans, I am an obedient person, or citizen. I stayed home to be counted. I waited to be counted. No one counted me.
The working persons would be counted on Saturdays, and I always stayed home.
I
Saturdays.
stayed home waiting to be counted. No one came
And
to
even
count
the
me.
people who said they were registered, they didn't find themselves there.
Maniro Mushuni.
Yes.
The NRM is very interested in the local council chairperson elections.
Yes.
Simply because they do a lot of the politicking on behalf of the national resistance movement. There've been talk of how the state was not interested in conducting these elections because they wanted to retain the status quo, where literally the LC1 chairpersons across the country are 100% NRM. It's been changed a little bit. But how much interest does the NRM have in the local council LC1 chairpersonship?
Yes, thank you, moderator. I won't divert from what other listeners have said.
Has the panelists.
Rather, other panelists. What I may say, Chairperson LC1, why NRM is interested in that seat, everyone knows that it's the first office in the country.
Yes.
Then followed by the president. So, if you don't have Chairperson LC1s, you have no government. The first government is Chairperson LC1. Only that, opposition and some Ugandans have not known the strength of LC1s. And that's why NRM invests a lot in that. And the strength of NRM is Chairperson LC1. That's why you see even in structures, they make sure that they take all the seats of Chairperson LC1 and structures such that they build from there. They come with Women League, then after other leagues, youth and PWDs and what have you. Even PDM is starting with LC1. That means that if you don't have LC1, no government policy will come, no government program will come at the expense of citizens. That means that if you have NRM, everything is welcome to the citizens and comes well to the people.
Okay, let's talk about youth participation.
Yeah.
And the role that Chairperson LC1 plays. Do you think a 30-year-old man, 20-year-old man, 25, has the skill set that is required to manage a society as big as a village?
One philosopher made a statement that when elites are asleep, hooligans will take on. More so, the elders or the people whom you think that they would be Chairperson LC1s are no longer interested. Now let the youth come and take over. And I'm happy that most seats you would find that there is a youth competing on that.
How is this youth going to chair a committee of a man and a woman that are disagreeing over infidelity, over cheating, over adultery?
That's the role of the 9 committee members. I may be young and Bwenji is old. We share ideas and we see how we can resolve the situation or the family conflict within a family. Because the chairperson LC1 cannot serve on lead alone. The first and foremost, the chairman LC1 has the vice, has the general secretary, the treasurer, the youth representative, and what have you. So that means that if I say that, Banyaji, you did wrong to your wife, Bwenje will come in and say, no, that's not how they handle issues. Because you may, as a youth, I may think that a gentleman can go wrong. But Bwenje can say, no, you look here, Banyaji, beat up the wife. Then we resolve and then the case is done. So I'm happy for that. Because age is just numbers.
Okay.
Because we have seen, in the first place, we used to think that chairperson LC1s who are women cannot make it. But they are the one of the trustworthy leaders we have got in this country, especially on NLC1. So I think now that the youth have come up, that's the rightful time for them to come up. And let them not stop on LC1s. Let them take on other seats.
Let's delve into the responsibility and duties of chairperson LC1. At least now I know better that actually within land transaction, it's not statutory that local chairperson LC1s are supposed to sanction any kind of document. It's simply by practice and custom that some of these have been done. But we know
Even
that
bail.
even bail and all.
Yeah,
But we know that some of the chairpersons LC1 have been implicated in the fraud that has been done in land transactions. Isn't it high time that we think of changing the system of involving chairpersons LC1 in land transactions? Councillor Bwenji?
No. Because they being the eyes and ears of government on the ground, you cannot exclude them from the transactions. Actually, as a lawyer, when I'm making an agreement of sale of land, you'd rather have the signature of a chairperson LC1
Than
and
an
not mine.
advocate.
Yes, because me, I'm not there. I don't go there. I don't know if you are actually the owner of the land or not. But at least the chairperson LC1 must have an idea who the neighbors are, who the previous owner is, who the current owner is, if there are any issues about land, about that kind of land in the LC1 court. If maybe, I mean, you cannot. Of course, as I know, it is a lesser of two evils, but we must have them there. Because of course that is why in a sale transaction a lawyer is going to earn 100,000, but the chairperson is one earns 400 because the advocates had many, but the other one chairperson is one, so he enjoys some kind of monopoly. So that's why, of course, as an advocate, you cannot compete with him or her. But all said and done, land is, of course, not vegetables. It is something that is very special, and it is, I think, virtually the only thing you can own, on earth. Because a car can be stolen, a car can crash, and so forth. But land is permanent.
Yes.
It is always there.
Okay.
So of course, as to how much they participate in our everyday state of affairs, if you do not have a recommendation from LC1, then you cannot be released on bail, because the judge doesn't even know. What if you are a
resident,
a good person there, or if you come from there, or if you're even safe when you are released on bail. So I think they are so important, and it is the reason that their election has to be conducted very, very, very much in consonance to the law, especially in hiding who has voted for who. Because if you know that so and so did not vote for me, then the chances are high that you might try to either intimidate him or harass him or prejudice him.
Okay.
Yeah.
The RDC, we are talking about the emoluments of the chairperson's LC1. Government, I don't know, for some reason it has not facilitated this office. You literally don't have a structured salary for chairperson's LC1. The last I checked, we were being given money as if they are giving elders who are given 25,000 per quarter or something, or per month or something. How much money do you pay this chairperson's LC1? And the little that you give them, hasn't it fund the corruption within these councils?
Actually, I have an elder who is my friend. He's from Mitoma. Recently, we were discussing, and he was telling me he served as the chairman LC3 in 1998. You know, after the constitutionalization of Uganda, 1995, and he served up to 2010. But during those days, actually, at first, the LC3s, even LC5s, would earn just a peanut. If you would find an LC5 earning in 2001, an LC5 earning like a 50,000 note, and you find LC3 is just volunteering. And that time, people were giving patriotic work. Even you would not hear anything like the LC being compromised to release stamp on compromises and gifts. But these days, people are monetizing offices and taking away the spirit of patriotism. At a village level where you are serving the people you are living with, number one, these leaders would be facilitated. For example, if I'm in Rwampara, really to move from Chinon, where the head office is, to Mwizi, I need a vehicle, I need fuel. If I'm to move to Ndija, the same. If I'm to move to where, the same. So if there is a facilitation for fuel, that would be understandable, because I need to make those necessary movements. But now this is a small unit, a village, where you can just walk around to your neighbor and see what is exactly transpiring. And you say now you want salaries. What are they motivating you to do? Because now, if the offices are monetized, that means that people will now live the spirit of patriotism, serving the Wananchi, now serving money. And that's the spirit His Excellency the President has been championing. This is a stamp. This is a small unit. You are a leader of those people. Lead them patriotically. Because if you wanted the facilitation, you would be wanting maybe to transport. And transport, you are in the village. The village you are leading is just a unit, a small place where if you wake up 1 hour, you have already traversed the entire village and you are home. And so that's why in this we must take away privileges out of principles. What do principles demand? People, a chairperson LC1 has to serve the interests of the Wananchi, has to serve Uganda. And so if now this chairman LC1 looks at a privilege of a salary and wants a salary, that means that even if you give him today 100,000 as a salary, tomorrow he will tell you that salary is small, add me, or else he will start doing fake work. So His Excellency the President is building a spirit of patriotism in Uganda. That's why his message one time was that if a president of Uganda can earn 3.5, and that's what he earns, 3.5 as a salary, as a president of the Republic of Uganda, then that means 15 is not small for a chairman LC1, because that should be an airtime to facilitate him call maybe wherever there are emergencies. And also I want to state that these LCs have been manipulated. Actually, most of you are asking yourselves why the election was hot. In some areas, there are land grabbers. They wanted to protect their interests. In some areas, there are people who are leaders at a higher level, maybe MPs. They also want to protect their interests. In some areas, someone has some plot of land and maybe thinks if the leadership of the area is not influenced by him, there would be chaos at one point and maybe he loses that land. So you find people were so much interested. But to request our chairpersons, because in our office we have received many complaints from different chairpersons who have been releasing stamps on illegal things. You find someone has grabbed the land illegally, but already has all the legal documents. Stamps, LC1. Now, when you have the stamp of LC1, it becomes harder for LC2 not to endorse. So you find someone has already an illegal sale agreement, and the sale agreement is illegal, but in actual sense is illegal because the man may be passed behind and connived with the LC1 chairperson. So I call upon these Ugandans to know, especially those who voted, to know that however much you voted the chairperson LC1, still the power and the mandate remain with you, the voters. Because in some villages, people have gathered and removed the stamp from the chairperson LC1, especially when there are allegations of mistrust, allegations of fake transactions. And also there is a question you asked of the young people getting to these offices. One, I don't think I'm too old, neither am I too young.
You're a young man.
But
at least I'm older than you. You're a young
but
man.
To the office of the president that also handles such matters.
Yes.
When one finds me in that office, you see a man of 50, 40s, 60s asking himself very many. Now this young man, I'm going to tell him family issues here. How will he approach? But eventually, you find a man leaving the office when he's appreciating. I think it is high time we allow the young people to take on the mantle. Recently, I was at a certain barrio in Shema. When I reached and they introduced me, they said, mzee inawea tuisobgana hati. People. Now I asked them, when God gives you rain, you complain. When he gives you sunshine, you complain. What do you want? You people have been here crying that president, the entire system is for Bazei. And the young people are no longer given opportunities to serve. Now Mzee is saying, young people, it's your time to shine. Get to these offices. The very people that have been complaining are now turning the guns. Mzee, what we saw gun. So what do they want?
Okay.
So the best thing is that if you are a young person with such a responsibility, serve the interest of the people and act exemplary, by the way. Challenge. Those who know my methods of work in Rwampara, they know I like challenging. If there was something that has been going on wrong, I will challenge. Whether you're who, they know.
Okay. Sandra, there was an LC system that started in the resistance councils while the Bush War was ongoing, when President Museveni and his comrades were in Luwero fighting to liberate the country. They created a structure, a system of managing the society, and they replicated it definitely when they took over power. I am very sure it's me and Bwenje here that voted in that referendum of 2005. I voted and to amend that particular provision of the constitution that required an introduction of the multi-party dispensation. That was definitely an open ground for all these political parties. Don't you think that this particular office should have been restricted to individual merit? Don't you think the political colors have contaminated the responsibility of the local council chairpersons? Wouldn't it be only right that they remain neutral of any political organization?
In my opinion, them being in colors most of the times does not actually affect how the community sees them, because I believe the LC1 elections are the only ones where you find someone is elected the chairperson LC1 on merit and not because he is FDC or NRM or NUP, because these are the people he has lived with for a long time, and they know if they can entrust him with their well-being, because they're entrusting you with their well-being, and they can know whether, with the disregard of the party that you're contesting under, if you're actually someone they would live with. Because I have seen people vote for other parties other than maybe the one that may be favored in the community, because of the person, because they know the person, because they know anytime you call them they're going to actually be of help. because they know that regardless, they are going to look beyond the color of the party that you actually maybe support. Yes, and they are going to actually give you help because they are your chairpersons and in the same area.
Okay.
That's why I would like to disagree with the RDC, who says that the 15k, I don't know when it became 15k, the last time I checked it was 10k, that is actually given to these LC1 chairpersons is just for airtime. Because imagine, it is a small community, but it's someone who is always, there is always something in the village. There's a land transaction, there is someone who has fought, there's someone who is actually demanding 10k from the other who has not paid, there is that bar fight, and all those many things. I don't know why it would be hard for the government to actually get something, maybe 200, maybe 300, and give it to the LC1 chairperson. Them actually introducing themselves to be a leader of these people doesn't mean that they are not looking at their own, sustenance, how they're going to live. Because these guys are always, maybe trying to work, and then they get phone calls, and then they have to go and sort that. And by the time they actually introduce the office of the RDC, then things have escalated. They have done all they could. So why not pay them? The other leaders are being paid. He also said that there are two most important electoral positions in the country. Okay, why is the other one paid and with actually a whole budget, and the other one is only given airtime?
Okay. Manjiro Mushuni, before I come to Council Bwenje, at least when we lose a member of parliament, there is a by-election. When we lose the president, there is a whole procedure under the law upon which a presumption of another person could take over office.
Yes.
For the local council chairperson, it looks shady.
Yes.
And
there's a lacuna there.
There is a lacuna on if the chairperson dies, what happens? But the question to you is, this is an entire committee. It's not only the chairpersons. Do you think other persons on the committee play their roles? There is a secretary for children, there is a secretary for women, there is a secretary for environment, for defense. At least defense. We know certainly a defense is in things. Certainly, in Nakulabia where I grew up, a defense was a very powerful person because of the insecurity, and it was a ghetto area and all that. But the lacuna we are talking about, the chairperson is dead. Who takes up the position? It has been hereditary, where chairpersons who have served for 30 years have an elder son. By default, the elder son takes over as chairperson. What do you think should be done better?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. The only challenge is the whole system from Parliament to LC1.
Yes.
That's where the problem is. Because I'm of a view that Parliament should make laws which would help even chairman LC1s. But for them, they are thinking on themselves. More so in the time of salaries and what have you. That's why the word local council means local. Local remains local. That's why they're no longer interested. Yet they are vital and serious offices we have in the country. What happens when the LC1 dies? The vice takes on. Yes. Even if he or she shifts from one cell to another, or from, let's say, from Rento on the cell, then he goes to Kacheka. That means that the vice chairperson immediately becomes the chairperson. That's how it should be. But the challenge is, most chairperson LC1s, they work by themselves. Me, I'm of a view that if you have a secretary on the committee, Bwenje is buying land, chairperson Sandra, call Bwenje drafts the letter, you put a stamp, you call the entire committee, and you say, Banyaji is selling his land, he has sold it so and so. And the whole committee is aware. That's why in the near future, or in the time to come, we find challenges. The chairperson LC1 agreed with the buyer, and they are cheating someone. The agreement is made. Then in the long run, you hear that there are quarrels of land. And the committee is like, but we know the land belongs to Bwenje. Yet the chairperson ate money and they had agreed. Is insisting the land does not belong to Bwenje. And at the end of it all, the whole committee, it's like in sham. Me, I'm of a view, let the committee work. The whole committee, 9 members, let them work with the chairperson. Let's say in issues of land. If buying land, let the 11 members rather, all be there.
But I think the challenge is on sharing that percentage.
The challenge is on Bugatti. That's what the challenge is.
Yes, the money.
They don't want to share the staff money.
For example, here, where I am in Koranodia here, we had a chairman that you couldn't access. You would only call him. You would call him, then he tells you where to go, then they stamp for you, then you send him money by mobile money. You rarely see this man, but he had been chairman for a very long time. Let's go to the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls. Let's get feedback from you on how it happened at your village earlier when you involved yourselves in the exercise of government of electing the chairpersons LC1s. Now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Now as you get to call, let me get to our social media handles. There are a couple of messages that are coming in. We asked on what is your assessment of the conduct of the LC1 chairpersons. Did it reflect a free and fair and credible electoral process? On X, Simwanje Haman, you're saying, I just wonder how LC1 elections were conducted. The Ikambe chairpersons were sitting besides the registrars during registration. Many people were not included because of political ideologies. Why don't the Electoral Commission pay us for presiding over local council elections, especially in Rakai? Thank you, Haman. And that is the truth. Some of these exercises, the chairpersons LC1s are involved, and yet they are persons of interest. It gets some kind of shady image. Says Amos, you're saying, why is it that if someone who is not in government talks about poor service delivery and corruption, he also becomes a bad criminal and arrested? You're talking about when the government talks about, I'm going to ask the parting shot on each one of them about the conduct of Balam and Namere as we get out of studio. Money Hunter, the resignation of LC1 members eligible for voting was made by former chairperson LC1. Moses Engunyu, you're saying you're listening in from Uganda. You're saying he now concerned about the local council electoral commission process. Well, thank you. On Cruise TV, there are a couple of messages that are coming in. Our time is fast spent, but I see you, Amanya, you're watching. Kandwanao Godfrey, you're watching from Igora, Mujune Ambrose, you're watching from Chikati in Chiruhura. Kakuru Lawrence, you're watching from Chiruhura in Sanga. I want to appreciate you. Tayewa Javira, you're in Roharo, you're watching. Kwai Steven, you're in Hoima watching. Ahimbisibwe, Brian, you are a big seater. I want to appreciate you. You're listening in from Barara. Big time, Akanaka PLU, Brian. Thank you for listening in. Amanyire Joseph, I see you. Kabagambe, Bowen. And so many at Kirwe, Longino, you're saying the side of Isinjo, people are denied nomination forms. That message is gotten. And there's so much that is happening. Maria, you're saying RDC at Kwatanse can't talk without talking about the military. A couple of messages are still on. Wajra David, you're saying in Uganda we have never held a free and fair election. Best Ankunda, a big city, is saying 98% completion is not credibility. Failing 1,135 villages shows disorganization there. And you're saying, I personally saw no democracy. Registers were stuffed with NRM chairpersons. We didn't have elections. Best Arnold Ankunda, thank you. Gilbert Mohanji, I see you. You're saying Biabakama didn't go into the polls countrywide. I see the messages. Let me pick 1-2 calls. We get to the parting shots. The big set. It's lost that call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-912. The big set.
Yes, Banyadi.
Yes, good morning. LC1 elections. How did it go?
Good morning to Michael Mugume from Chitura. And here we had very good LC1 elections. But please tell that LDC within you there to stop that audacity. Thank you. Good morning.
This man is working. He's explaining government policies. The audacity must be there. But the big seat?
Hello, Mr. Wanyaji.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Jola. I'm calling from Misingilo.
LC1 elections.
LC1 elections were full of money for bribing voters.
I think that's a very good parting shot. Let me start with the Bwenje in seconds.
And the Namer, I think, are doing the right thing because we want accountability for the money that is paid by taxpayers.
Thank you. Maniro Mujuni.
Yes. My parting shot, I have two. One of them is about the way how Baram is torturing those thugs we are having in the system. He's taking away the Kaunkumi, and I will be happy to see him in Ankole. And another parting shot.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Ibanda is taking on Chiruhura
in the Ankole Cup.
The Ankole Cup. Or I can promise.
Which stage is it?
Semi-finals.
Semi-finals. Okay.
And they are played on one day, just in Mshenyi. All I can assure you, tomorrow by 5 p.m.,
Shall have a
Ibanda will
trophy.
be on finals and have qualified on finals. We are taking the trophy. And last but not least,
Yes.
I know Mshenyi is not taking the trophy and is not going on finals.
Yes, last but not least.
Last but not least, there are many listeners out there, especially people from Ibanda district
Yes.
and UK, that is United Charhanga.
Please send them greetings.
And
Those
all
ones.
students at Ibanda University.
Yes.
Yeah, there is Jill, there is Dashan, and also Samnas that is at the Ibanda Comprehensive Medical
I
Center.
hope that's not your wife.
It's
But
called
the-
Pamela.
It looks like you're going. It looks like the weekend is going to be very nice for you. Let me take the parting shot of Sandra. I'll end with the protocol must be observed. Yes, Sandra.
Thank you so much. My parting shot that has to do with the ministers of local government. I knew
But for me, it looks ugly.
Yeah,
It honestly looks ugly.
because that's what
First of
I
all-
am going to say.
Yeah, yes. please.
Because why are they moving together? Because right now
But
they
they're
are clashing.
quarreling. They're clashing.
Yeah, no,
Like, why
no.
don't they
Is it-
separate
is it-
the
no, no,
regions
no, no,
and someone
where?
goes this way and another one goes this way, and then they make reports and they compare?
No,
Because they are clashing. Have you seen
I know,
like in
yes,
Masaka? They literally were in each other's faces.
I know, because you see, it is kind of like a gray area. They have never done it. So they still
And the
do
fact that
know
both of them love the
basics.
gallery so much.
Yeah.
And
Some-
they're
they have
eating
to
in
clash.
each other's face.
And
In spite of
yeah.
the form,
Eh.
the substance is okay.
Okay.
Okay. And for me, I would like to say hi and wish a happy Girlfriend's Day to my friends, the emergencies.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Yes, the RDC.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to appreciate you, Council Banyaji, for always hosting us here in the big seat, and I want to thank the management of the Cruise FM for maintaining the mutindo. And on the issue of Honorable Barama and Namere, I must state that
First of all, the controversy is on how Namere denied the coffee and the money. And then Balam just yesterday presented a payment to the people that this lady was saying did not deserve to be paid, or that there was no deal at all.
now
It's a whole controversy.
First of all, I want to appreciate that for whatever you see,
Yes.
started with the CDF of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, General Mhozi Kainerugaba, who launched an operation Mariza Ufisadi, Operation End Corruption. And that operation was launched after immediately the president was sworn in and said this is Sanja no more corruption.
Yes.
So for whatever you see Honorable Baram and Honorable Namere doing, it is a guided Operation Mariza Ufisadi, and it is not stopping. And for the thieves here in Ankole and in the whole country at large, you are on alert that this operation must finish you.
At least we know the statements of the mayor of Mbarasite, Kachavez. He warned them that be careful, come slowly, it may not go down with you very well. But I want to appreciate you, Mr. RDC Musat Kwatanse, for making time this morning. Thank you, Mr. Manjiro Mshuni Clifton. Thank you, Council Bwenje. Thank you, Council Sandra. My name is Wesige Banyaji. We have news at the top of the hour. We shall meet next Saturday on the big seat. God bless you for God and my country. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.